I'm James Jimenez, Executive Director of NMVC Action Fund. You know, the reason that we created NMVC Action Fund was because we saw that, it took 10 years to put on the ballot a constitutional amendment to support more funding for early childhood care and care programs. And we saw that we were able to pass that with 70% when it was finally put in front of the voters. What we felt like we needed to do was to create a much more robust capacity within our child advocacy sector, not only to do the lobbying work that we need to do during the legislative session to pass good policy, but as everyone knows, it's much easier to pass good policy when you have your champions that are actually serving in those decision-making seats. So what the funding from Impact Fellows allows us to do is, number one, to make sure that we are electing early childhood champions, but really to develop relationships with them over the medium and long term that assures that we are going to continue to get good policy support from the legislature for the duration. In 2022, we were able to pass a constitutional amendment that increases funding for early education programs by more than $140 million a year in perpetuity. Now, that would not have happened if we hadn't had the political advocacy to make sure that the legislature would actually put the measure on the ballot. The 501c4 funds allowed us to be much more active during the legislative session to ensure that the legislators would take the right vote, even though they had not done so for 10 years. So after 10 years, we were finally able to convince a majority to put it on the ballot, and they did, and we were able to pass it. One of the things I like best about Impact Fellows is the fact that these are general support grants and allows us to use the money in ways that is best for our organization. So we can use it not only for electoral work, but we can also use it for our longer-term power building strategies in conjunction with other allies and coalitions, big and small, all across the state.